Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Is now in session. Today is Monday, July 15th, 2024. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. We pray in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, standing in the ability to be good decision makers. As always, we thank you for the opportunity to represent the people of North Ridgeville, and we ask you to watch over and keep our community safe. We pray in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Swink.
Here.
Schaefer.
Here.
Abens.
Here.
Winkle.
Here.
Awig.
Here.
DeVries.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mr. Mayor.
Here.
Law Director.
Here.
Engineer.
Here.
Finance Director.
Here.
Clerk of Council. Here.
Tonight, under the approval of minutes, we have the regular City Council meeting minutes dated July 1st, 2024. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved. Please note that council has also received the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting minutes dated June 27th, 2024, the Civil Service Commission meeting minutes dated July 1st, 2024, and the Planning Commission meeting minutes dated July 9th, 2024. That'll bring us to our lobby session. For those who are not familiar, the lobby session is the portion of our meeting in which the public is allowed an opportunity to address council as well as the administration. However, in the interest of time, it is not intended to be an interactive question and answer period. Nonetheless, we do welcome and appreciate your input. Depending on the nature of your comments, a member of council or the administration may follow up with you. Audience members wishing to speak will be asked to speak from the podium, and from the podium only, please, for up to 3 minutes regarding matters related to the business of City Council or the general affairs of the City of North Ridgeville. I will ask you to begin by stating your name and address for the record, following which your 3 minutes will begin immediately. At this time, the lobby session is now open. Is there anybody in attendance who wishes to address council this evening? Okay, seeing none, the lobby session is closed. We will move on to administrators' reports. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. On tonight's agenda, there'll be several pieces of legislation that I'll be asking for the emergency clause on. It'll be 72 through 77 in total. Our street paving, our Public Works Street Division is finishing up paving and cleanup on Cadet Drive. They're about halfway through this year's asphalt paving list, and the remainder of those streets are on our city's website at nridgeville.org. Our zoning community survey results are in. If you remember, there was a request for public input on that zoning survey, and we had almost 1,000 people that responded. It was open from May 20th to June 16th, which is 4 weeks, and was promoted on social media, the city's June newsletter, website, and email blasts. The majority of the people who responded, no surprise, were North Ridgeville residents, 97%. With over 10 years of residency in the city, we're at 57%. Homeowners, 98%, and aged 35 through 64 was 69% of the survey participants. So if you're interested in those results, visit the city's website for more information, and thank you to all those who participated. Tomorrow night is a coffee and conversation right here in council chambers from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Normally these events are held in the morning, and this is a special evening edition. Our summer concert series is continuing on. The fourth and final concert of the season is Sunday, July 28th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and it is the band Funkology, which covers Motown to country, disco to classic rock. So pretty much everything. Remember, there is the potential for a rainout, and there is a Park and Rec Department rainout line tab on their webpage, or call the rainout line. And then finally, there is on Saturday, July 20th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Teal Art Fest. It's happening at South Central Park. It's aimed at showcasing the visual and performing artists of Northeast Ohio. And they celebrate the arts and individual expressions of K through 12 students and young adults. It is going to feature the business community and residents of North Ridgeville and neighboring cities. There's free live entertainment, kid-friendly activities, food, and locally curated art gallery. The event is sponsored by In Education, and this is a new event, so if you're interested, please participate. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Engineer?
Thank you. Great Lakes Demolition was awarded the Chestnut Ridge Bridge replacement over Dixon Ditch. We are still awaiting the contractor schedule, but the county anticipates they will start sometime next month. We recently awarded the Stony Ridge, Avalon, and Mills Roundabout project to KMU and hope to schedule a pre-construction meeting soon. At that time, I'll be able to give more details to the proposed closure. We also awarded this year's traffic paint striping project, Griffin Pavement Striping, and crack sealing to Scadeller Construction. And those should kick off soon. Today we opened bids for the Maddock Road culvert replacement. I'm very happy to report the apparent low bidder was under the engineer's estimate. The Ohio EPA has recently instituted additional reporting requirements for our water distribution system. We are now required to inventory all of our service lines tapped off of North Ridgeville's water mains, which includes over 15,000 services. We are required to provide a number of factors, including identification, sequencing, detailed locations, material type, approximate age of lateral, and others. The report is due to the EPA this October. Engineering is again looking for a resident project representative to fill our inspection needs. Anyone interested can find the job posting details on the North Ridgeville's employment page. And finally, the next Board of Drainage meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, July 23rd at 7 p.m. in this room and is open to the public. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Director of Finance.
Thank you, Council President. Before Council tonight for your consideration are three pieces of financial legislation. Ordinance number 2024-75 is an ordinance amending 2024 appropriations. Resolution 2024-75 is a resolution authorizing the execution of then and now certificates. And ordinance 2024-77 is the 2025 tax budget. The purpose of the tax budget is to justify continued collections of authorized property tax levies and the participation in the distribution of local government funds. The revenue estimates in the tax budget are used to generate the official certificate of estimated resources, which faces a limitation on the amounts to be appropriated in the upcoming year. The tax budget is the start of our annual appropriation process. The appropriation budget for 2025 is set to be completed in fall of 2024. Lastly, the Finance Department has distributed the June 2024 financial report. This report is available for public review on the city's website under the Department of Finance's webpage. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. In addition to the verbal reports, Council has also received the June 2024 Water Distribution and EPA report, the June 2024 Fire Department report, as well as the June 2024 Building Division report. We have nothing under Council committee reports or old business. Moving on to new business. The North Ridgeville Planning Commission took action on a couple of items at their regular meeting of July 9th, 2024. Clerk, if you could please read item number 1 for TJB Incorporated.
Item number 1, TJB Incorporated, 33600 Liberty Parkway, permanent parcel number 070000811559. Applicant Victor Gravinko AA 423 Lombardi Drive, Bree, Ohio 44017. Proposal consists of constructing a 10,000 square foot addition to existing building for storage. Property zoned I-2 Light Industrial District. The Planning Commission action approved by a vote of 4-0 with the condition of the changing of the split face block to painted flat block regarding the elevation.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Rabins.
it's gratifying to see one of our businesses actually expanding. but I will move to approve.
Second.
The motion was made by Abens and seconded by Swank to approve the Planning Commission's action, the approval of the project for TJB Incorporated. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
in order to avoid any conflict, I'll be abstaining from this vote.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeVries. Are there any additional comments? All right, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Abstain?
Jacobs.
Yes.
Planning Commission action passes by a vote of 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Clerk, please read item number 2 for ProCare WeCare.
Procare We Care, Huron A. Russ, 35782 Center Ridge Road, permanent parcel number 07000211011068. Proposal consists of constructing a 9,000 square foot building, parking, and landscape material storage. Property zone B3 Highway Commercial District and R1 Resident District. Note, Planning Commission recommended rezoning the portion of the property zone R1 to B3 on May 14, 2024. The Planning Commission action was denied by a vote of 3-1.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens.
I will move that we approve the denial of the Planning Commission's actions.
Second.
The motion was made by Abens and seconded by Swank to approve the action of the Planning Commission, which in this case was a denial of the project for ProCare WeCare. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President, I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Schaefer?
Why was it denied?
Mr. Abens, as the Planning Commission liaison, would you?
For a variety of reasons, they were requesting more variances. The project was being shoehorned into the area, and also the rear of the property is still zoned as R1.
Thank you, Mr. Abens. Are there any additional comments or questions? Again, just to clarify, the applicant has not received approval of the Planning Commission at this point, so the motion on the floor is to approve the Planning Commission's action, which in this case was a denial. So a yes vote here means the project is denied, while voting no in opposition to the Planning Commission action would indicate that you're in favor of the project. Not sure what that was. Are there any questions? Okay, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
The motion carries 7-0.
And lastly, under new business, there is a new liquor permit request. If you could please read the request, clerk.
A request from the Chipotle Mexican Grill of Colorado LLC, DBA Chipotle Mexican Grill for a new liquor permit request at 34712 Center Ridge Road.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Winkle?
I'd like to move to not request a hearing so this permit could be sent to the state for their final disposition by August 8th.
Second.
The motion was made by Winkle and seconded by Awig to not request a hearing so that the permit could be sent to the state for final disposition by the deadline of August 8th, 2024. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
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 And all opposed say no. The motion carries. Brings us to recess.
Mr. President, I move to dispense with recess.
Second.
The motion was made by Winkle and seconded by Awig to dispense with recess. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
And all opposed say no. All right, recess has been dispensed. We'll move on to first readings. Up first is 2024-71.
2024-71, an ordinance repealing NRCO Section 222.03, fees for the copies in North Ridgeville Administration Code.
Twenty 2024-72.
2024-72, a resolution accepting the donation of 10 picnic tables and benches donated by the Lorraine County Solid Waste Management District.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-72. Are there any comments at this time? Comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
in past years, the county has given us recycle money based on our recyclable content that we supply to Republic over the year. They stopped that a couple of years ago, but they came up with the idea of getting recycled picnic benches that can turn into tables, or tables into benches, whichever way you're starting off. And so we have the opportunity to pick these up. We'd like to get them now and put them out while the weather is good. And so we're asking for the emergency clause for that reason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions? Again, the motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-72. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for reasons stated by the mayor.
Second.
It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-72 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by Winkle and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-72 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
2024-73.
2024-73, a resolution accepting subgrant number 2024 BW LEC 3544 in the amount of $83,549.06 from the Office of Criminal Justice Services for the North Ridgeville Body Worn Camera Project.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It is moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-73. Are there any comments or questions?
Mr. President,
Mr. Mayor?
we usually, when we're receiving a grant, pass these with an emergency because we're getting money and there's no reason to wait in order to receive that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions? Again, the motion was made by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-73. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons I just stated.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to add the emergency clause to 2024-73 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to adopt 2024-73 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-73 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-74.
2024-74, a resolution approving an expenditure from the Law Enforcement Trust account for a drone.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-74. Are there any comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. President, I have a question.
Mr. Schaefer?
Why doesn't this have a dollar amount attached to it?
I believe it was in there in the legislation.
So, okay. It's not here.
Are there any additional comments or questions?
Mr. President, when we ask for money to be used from the Law Enforcement Trust account, there are specific reasons as to what that money can be used for, and it has to be approved by council. This amount is about half of what the drone costs. We're taking money from another account to pay for the rest of the drone cost, but this meets the one of the reasons for use of the funds from that trust account, and so we're just looking for your okay, as the rules state.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are there any additional comments or questions? So again, it was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-74. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed, say no.
Mr. President,
carries.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so we can use these funds to purchase the second drone that will be in the department.
Second.
It was moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to add the emergency clause to 2024-74 for the reasons stated by the mayor. On the emergency clause, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no. It was then moved by the mayor and seconded by Swank to adopt 2024-74 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swank,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-74 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-75.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 6121-2023 of the City of North Ridgeville, Ohio, providing appropriations for the period commencing January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
The motion was made by DeVries and seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-75. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so that we can meet our financial obligations in a timely manner.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-75 for the reasons just stated by Mr. DeVries. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
And all opposed say no. It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-75 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-75 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-76.
A resolution authorizing the execution of the then and now certificates by the city fiscal officer and the payment of amounts due for various purchase orders.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to dispense with the second and third reading.
Second.
The motion was made by DeVries and seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-76. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no.
Mr. President, move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause for the reasons stated by the Director of Finance.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-76 for the reasons stated earlier in the meeting by the Director of Finance. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-76 with the emergency clause in place. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-76 has been adopted by a vote of 7-0.
2024-77.
An ordinance approving the tax budget of the city of North Ridgeville, Ohio for the year beginning January 1st, 2025, and submitting the same to the Lorraine County Auditor.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
dispense with the second and third readings.
Second.
It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to dispense with the second and third readings for 2024-77. Are there any comments or questions at this time? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
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 All opposed say no.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. DeVries.
move to adopt.
Second.
Mr. President, move to add the emergency clause so that we can meet the July 19th deadline and get the report over to Lorraine County Auditor.
Second.
The motion was made by DeVries and seconded by Awig to add the emergency clause to 2024-77 in order to meet the deadline. On the emergency clause alone, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. It was moved by DeVries and seconded by Awig to adopt 2024-77 with the emergency clause in place. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-77 has been adopted by a vote of 7 to nothing.
All right, there are no second readings on tonight's agenda, so moving on to third readings, we have 2024-58.
An ordinance amending North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance Section 660.13, smoking in places of public assembly.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink.
I'd like to make a motion to amend 2024-58, adding the verbiage in the word properties. The amended version was provided this evening on the floor.
Second.
The motion was made by Swank and seconded by Winkle to amend 2024-58 by adding in the word properties. Is there any discussion at this time? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-58 has been amended by a vote of 7 to nothing.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mrs. Swink.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Swank and seconded by Winkle to adopt 2024-58 amended. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Avens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-58 has been adopted by a vote of 7 to nothing.
2024-63.
An ordinance repealing Chapter 862 taxicabs of the North Ridgeville Business Regulation Code.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Abens.
move to adopt.
Second.
It was moved by Abens and seconded by Swank to adopt 2024-63. At this time, are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Swink,
Yes.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Abens,
Yes.
Winkle,
Yes.
Awig,
Yes.
DeVries,
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
2024-63 has been adopted by a vote of 7 to nothing.
As far as meeting announcements, with there being 5 Mondays in the month of July, the next regular city council meeting will be held in 3 weeks on Monday, August 5th, 2024 at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. With no further business before us this evening,
Mr. President, one last thing I'd just like to mention on a happy note today. We had a new swearing in of a patrol officer, Megan Martin Mauser, and she's a lateral transfer over from Lakewood. And so that is our second female officer in the department.
thank you for sharing. Great news.
Yep.
With no further business before us this evening, this meeting is adjourned.